The air at Carrington this morning was heavy, thick with the silence of disappointment and the weight of intense scrutiny. Manchester United enters a brutal, non-stop run of festive fixtures in a deepening crisis, having thrown away two crucial points at home to a relegation zone West Ham side. The narrative has violently shifted from title contenders to managerial instability. Ruben Amorim faced the media ahead of Monday's trip to Molineux to face a bottom-of-the-table Wolves side, a match that is now no longer a formality but a defining test of his tenure. The pressure is immense, not least because of the unforgivable snub of Kobbie Mainoo and the failure of his new defensive experiments. We analyze Amorim's press conference, the frustration over losing control, the specific tactical demands for the Wolves game, and his inevitable deflection of the brutal questions surrounding his benching of Mainoo. Amorim began the conference by acknowledging the failure of the West Ham result, using measured language but allowing his deep frustration to bleed through. The core message was that the draw was entirely down to Manchester United's lack of composure and mental toughness. Amorim, quote, "It is really frustrating because you look at the game, you have the game under control, and we didn't win. We should have closed the game with the ball. The game was there to win, especially at Old Trafford. We couldn't maintain the ball, and again, we lost 2 points." This quote reveals Amorim's biggest disappointment, the mental lapse after Diego Dalot's goal. He confirmed that the team knew the risks of allowing West Ham set pieces, yet they became anxious and sloppy, inviting pressure they couldn't handle. The manager was keen to shut down excuses about substitutions or injuries. Amorim, quote, "It is not an excuse. The players change, but they know what to do in every situation. We need to close the game. We should be better with the ball after the first ball." This is the manager publicly placing the onus of the failure squarely on his players' shoulders, demanding they take responsibility for the lack of killer instinct. However, placing the blame externally only heightens the focus on the internal decisions he controls. Amorim was forced to address the disastrous selection of young defender Ayden Heaven, who was hooked at halftime after a nervous performance, including an early yellow card. The manager defended the decision, but his explanation offered little comfort, confirming it was a tactical error he was forced to correct. Amorim, quote, "It was just the yellow card. We were trying to press high, and we left one center back with the striker, so any foul there could be a yellow card. We missed Ayden in the set pieces, so we need to be smarter when we play the game." This is an incredible admission. Amorim substituted a player because of a potential second yellow card, yet he acknowledged that this substitution weakened the team's ability to defend set pieces, the very scenario that ultimately cost them the goal. The manager prioritized a high-press system over defensive stability, and it failed. The forced change validates the criticism that his lineup was ill-prepared for the moment, leaving the youth player exposed. With Matthijs de Ligt and Harry Maguire still out, the defense remains the most vulnerable area as they head to Molineux. The most toxic topic in the room was the 90-minute benching of Kobbie Mainoo. He was hammered with questions about why the one player who offers composure and control was not used when the midfield was visibly falling apart after the goal. Amorim's defense was identical to last week, refusing to budge on his stance, but his body language showed the toll this controversy is taking. Amorim, quote, "Kobbie knows the plan. He's training well. He has a lot of quality. He'll get his chance. We have Casemiro, Bruno, we have Ugarte. We have players who are experienced, and we need that experience to control the moments in the game, especially away from home." The manager is leaning heavily on the experience argument, using the upcoming away game at Molineux as an excuse to protect his midfield veterans. However, this is ringing hollow to the fanbase. Mainoo is now a symbol of Amorim's stubbornness. When asked if the constant criticism over Mainoo's selection affects his mental approach, Amorim, quote, "My focus is only on the next game. I cannot focus on external noise. The only thing I can control is the players I select and the way they train. If I start reading, I cannot do my job. We need to focus on winning games. Everything else is distraction. This deflection confirms the pressure is high, but it does nothing to appease the fan base. The manager is fighting a losing PR battle over his most valuable asset, and every non-start fuels the speculation of a January loan or even a permanent sale. The result has turned the trip to Molineux from a potential comfortable win against the bottom-of-the-table side into a mandatory high-stakes examination. Wolves are winless, rooted to the bottom of the table, and have the league's worst attack. But Amorim knows this is a classic Manchester United trap. Amorim quote, "Everything is important. Every game is important. We need to win the next one. Molineux is a difficult place to go. They are a team that will fight, and they are organized. We need to be better in our finishing, and we need to defend better, particularly set pieces." Amorim provided a strong tactical hint for Monday. Lisandro Martínez is ready to return. Amorim quote, "We are really happy for Lisandro. He's ready to help. He brings a different type of fight, a different mentality to the defense." This is the manager's lifeline. The return of the Butcher of Amsterdam should instantly stabilize the defense, ending the need for young, inexperienced defenders like Heaven. Amorim's press conference was a display of controlled frustration, but it offered no apologies and no solutions to the ongoing Mainoo saga. He confirmed his system is sound, but his players lack the mentality to execute it for 90 minutes. The mandate for Molineux is simple: win. Another failure against the league's worst team, especially with Mainoo still watching from the bench, will make the crisis terminal. The manager is running out of excuses, and the patience of the boardroom and the fan base is wearing dangerously thin. The time for talking is over. The time for a professional, ruthless performance is now.